Let's just be honest.
Be honest.
Let's just be honest.
Be honest. Hi, guys, and welcome back to HonestPodcast. All right, so you guys, we're doing something different. And if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing a robe, right? Right, because it's nighttime, and this is Pajama Talk. So, Pajama Talk today is about life choices as far as college. And I feel like I have the best person on here to ask those questions with. So today, Henry Lowry from Burns Seventh-day Adventist Church is on here for me to interview.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem. I appreciate you being here. And I have a lot of attention on that pillow. That's a nice pillow.
I like it. It's silk. It feels really nice.
Okay, now you're just rubbing it in.
Yeah, I got my pajamas on as well. I don't usually wear pajamas per se, but I got them on.
All right. Well, Henry, my first question is, because I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit jealous because I did not receive this. All right. Not as smart as you are, because you are really smart. All right. You blessed. How in the world? Why? Yes, I have a two-part question here. How and why did you reject a full ride scholarship to Yale to go to Andrews University?
You know, people ask me that all the time. People ask me that so many times. You know, at the time, and even this is 4 years later, people still ask me that. Man, it was a really hard decision. It was a tough choice. I prayed about it. I put it in the hands of the Lord. Ever since I was, young, I was really little. I wanted to go to an Ivy League school, whether it was Harvard, Yale, Princeton, some really prestigious university. It was always something I wanted to do. When I was in 12th grade, when they had the college fair at Peterson, where I was going at the time, all the schools came up and we were talking about different things. I'm like, well, those schools are nice and all, but I'm gonna go to a bigger school. I always thought I needed to go to a bigger school. Near the end of senior year, I was already set to go. I had got my acceptance letters and everything, and I was planning it. And then someone said, have you really been relying on God and praying and trusting his decision, or have you been praying and not listening to his answer and just going what you want? And that really took me aback because I thought I had been listening, but it turns out that I truly wasn't. And when I really did start to listen to where the Lord was leading me, he told me that Yale, that was not the place for me to be. I needed to go to Andrews. And looking back in hindsight, I feel like I needed to go to Andrews because that's where I was able to develop my own personal strong relationship with Christ.
And I would also ask, because I really admire that, because a lot of people wouldn't even focus on that. They really don't. They were like, oh, well, I can go to church. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a church around there somewhere. And most of the time when you do say that, you don't really end up going to church. You're like, oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't have a car. Oh, I gotta study. Oh, I gotta work. And then you forget and you're like, wait a minute. And you go down the road and it's like, why did I not stay in church? Why did I just slowly fade? And then some people just want to fade. I know, because some people aren't a fan of church. You can't really blame them either. So
You should mention that because I can count the times on one hand that I've gone a Sabbath without attending some type of church, whether it's a church, a youth church, an online service. I count times on one hand. I remember one time when I was young and I was sick, one time, and the second time was when I was away at Andrews. And it was the morning. I'm like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to Sabbath school. And then I'm just like, I'm not going to because I don't have to. I'm out on my own. I don't have to get up. I don't have to go to Sabbath school. I don't have to go to church service if I don't want to. And I didn't that day. I felt so bad about it. After that, I've never not gone to a church service since then.
I don't even like the fact that we can't go to church now.
Yeah, that's terrible.
You know,
Camaraderie.
and then it's like, fellowship is a really important thing. It's one of the things that kept us sane. When you're at work and school during the week, you're like, oh, I don't like these people. They're getting on my nerves. And you're like, yay, people I like. I know that's a mess way of looking at it, but like fellowship really was a good thing. And when you gather together and you're talking about God, talking about a sermon, doing Bible study, doing devotionals or skits or singing or signing or pathfinders, it's fun and you're blessed doing it because you're surrounding yourself and coming together in the name of God. And I really miss it because it helped bring sanity because everything else is ridiculous that's going on,
It's true. That's very true.
Well, so when you went to Andrews, did you ever have any second thoughts where it's like, oh, I should have went to Yale?
Yes, I have second thoughts all the time. Ever since I made the decision, I think about how my life would be different had I made a different decision. I even thinking about it right now. I second guess it. That's true. I feel like I made the right decision, but I still think about it even right now.
Well, as long as you feel that you did the right thing, and I think you did, and probably in a way made you stronger in faith and have more determination and discipline.
It's funny. I'm glad you said that because most people I talked to, they said that I didn't make the right decision. Whether it's people in the church, whether it's pastors, elders, even the most people you would think would say, you trusted what God said, and went to a Seventh-day Adventist institution. You would think they would be on board, but they say, "Wow, you made a mistake." Most people think that.
Well, I don't know why they would say that. I feel like that's kind of messed up, man. But I feel like, if in your heart you did what you felt was right and you felt that was God pushing you to do that choice, then it's always good not to live with regrets because you did what you knew were right. You didn't second guess it after you're like, oh, I'm excited for school. You didn't like, oh crap, I shouldn't have came. I'm pretty sure that's not how you felt. And you're really smart. I'm pretty sure you had good grades. Pretty sure you have friends. And I'm glad you only missed where you can count on one hand. Because I know I used to hate it when I would have to miss church. Like when I was sick, I did not want to be at home. I was like, man, I took like 8 different medicines within 3 hours. I'm like, I need to get out of this house. I was going crazy. I was like, I can't miss church. I don't want to be here. And then I got calls like, why you aren't at church? Why aren't you at church? And I'm like, oh, I'm sick. They're like, well, I hope you feel better. And then I had to miss the Sabbath after that. I was so mad because I missed 2 Saturdays in a row. I don't like missing church. I might be late sometimes, but I don't miss it. I show up. That's important. When you came back home, do you regret your choice of leaving Andrews to go to West State?
Man, at the time, I really did. I was completely distraught at the time because I came back, after the summer, and I was planning to go back in the fall, but personal reasons kept me from going back. I made a decision due to personal reasons to be able to go back. And I kept thinking like, oh, man, this is such a horrible thing. Like this is basically ruining my life. The fact that I'm not able to go back right now like I want to. And I was probably, most people didn't notice, I was in a depression for a while after I came back. It wasn't until I was approached by the pastor at the time, Corey Jackson Sr., to be the Pathfinder director at my church. That I was really brought out of that funk, and I was really brought out of that phase for a long time. You know, I was just going through the motions. You know, I was going to church, I was having a job, I was still going to school. You know, I started up at Wayne State, I was actually doing partial credits at the time, but it was not a good time for me mentally because I felt like this is so wrong. But it turns out, you know, looking back on it, I wouldn't have it any other way looking back on it, because once I was approached to be the Pathfinder director, I started doing that. I started being the media coordinator at my church and being involved in the church and being involved with the young people at my church, where there was a need. There was a need for someone to step in and be involved with the young people, and not just in Pathfinders, but with the Dash ministry that we were doing, with the Mind ministry that we were doing. Everything, it was important. It was important that I be there at Burns at this time instead of at Andrews. So I was able to go to Andrews, and I was able to get the proper foundation that I needed, but it wasn't for me to be there long term, because at this particular moment I needed to be at my church, and I didn't know that at the time. But looking back on it, I'm able to see now, because, you know, God, he knows the future, he knows everything. So that's how he works our plan. We work our plans through time. We can only work on what we're seeing now and what we know from the past, but we can't work off of what we know will happen, because we don't know. And so I thought it was an amazing thing for me. And even right now, if I had the chance to leave right now, you know, I've thought about it, but I wouldn't, because I still feel like I'm needed right now at this time. You know, there might come a time in a couple months, in a year or so, you know, I go with God's plan where, okay, I'm no longer needed here. Now I need to go somewhere else or do something else. But for the time being, I just try to stay involved in the church as much as possible and try to help the young people at my church, because it was definitely a lack and a need there. And I thank God every single day that I was able to help fill that need.
Well, I'm also glad and I appreciate that you came back, because it was like, yay! Somebody came back. And you know, you're like, so it's very hard not to notice that you're back. And we know who that is right there. Even at the age of 21, I'm still looking up at you. I'm like, ah.
And you always be.
That sounds kind of mean when you put it that way.
You gotta look up. You gotta physically look up to me, and you gotta look up to me because I'm older than you. Even though it's not like a lot, I'm a little bit older than you. So you know how that goes.
You're back in the Pathfinder ministry.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I love it. You know, I love doing it, and I'm glad I can get to the point where I enjoy doing it, even though it's stressful sometimes. Sometimes I want to pull out my hairs, but at the end of the day, it gives me joy to be able to provide this opportunity for the young people at my church that I was able to have, you know, from my Pathfinder director. And it would have been something that's completely missing from the church if I wasn't there to do it. So I think I love doing it, and I love having you helping. Wink, wink.
Why did you say it instead of actually wink?
I'm bad at winking. See,
You can wink.
see that one. That neither one was that good, was it?
Play wink. You're in trouble. That's my favorite game. I'm not gonna lie. Wink is my favorite game to play. Like at AYs or youth groups. That's my favorite. But they get so into it. Fruit Basket Upset gets violent. They be fighting over chairs. I be like, oh no. Feel like I'm like
the most violent person that I ever seen playing that game, hope she's watching this, is Maya Hightower. Maya Hightower, if she's watching it, she's the most violent person I've ever seen playing that game. She's scary.
Oh yeah, I remember being at CT for Lockie, and I remember I saw her in action. Yeah, she was like her whole body just dove across the whole circle. I'm like, wait a minute, what just happened? It was hilarious. But yeah, she's the champ. I wouldn't mess with her in that game. Mhm. Well, I'm glad you don't regret any of your choices now, and that you saw God saying, hey, you need to come home. I know you might not want to, but you got to come home. But it's good that you still stay in school, because I know sometimes people do struggle with the ideas like, should I finish? Maybe I shouldn't. What's the point? I'm glad you didn't feel that way and you're still sticking with it.
Yeah, you should always finish. That's my advice to anybody. Even if you have to take one class at a time, keep moving forward. Don't stop. Because it's always important to get an education. Education is the tool that can create change. People, even right now in this time period, people want so much change, whether it's policies in government, policies locally, with police, anything. Education is the tool that can create that. So if you have the chance to finish and keep going, finish, no matter what comes your way.
I really wanted to be a director, and I want to make Christian movies. That's what I really wanted to do. And I wanted to go to Full Sail. And I had wrote an essay about Pathfinders to get a scholarship. And I got the max 20,000 for the scholarship.
Charles?
And I wanted to go so badly. But something happened with my financial aid where it never got through and I never got a response. So I was like, crap, can't go. And then I wanted to go to Oakwood. The same thing happened. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just go to community college. Okay.
You can still work on the Full Sail idea, doing what you want. Even though you're going to community college now, getting your records and credits, but you should still focus on what you want to do. If it's attainable, go for it.
Well, you see, I had thought about it one day, and I decided that I was going to change my major, because I'm like, you know what? I want to do something that doesn't go against my morals and the rules I live by, especially through my religion. Like, I am very firm with not working on Saturday. Like, I've been like, no, I don't do Saturday. I'm not going to be here on Saturday. No, because that's everything else might be hard, but I'm letting you know right now that keep the seventh day holy. I do that.
And the Lord will bless you for it. Some people, they bend and they'll let go of what they really feel because they're like, well, I gotta have this job. But no, if you trust God, He'll reward you and He'll bless you for doing what He says. Believe that. Believe that, definitely.
Like, I had decided I wanted to do that, and I wanted to do a job where I help people, but I don't put myself in danger. So I decided to become a 911 dispatcher. I was supposed to go in May, but the corona had to just be very inconsiderate about that. And I don't go back to school until November. So I can thank her for that. Or it. I think it's a her that's really mad. I honestly think corona is a her, and she just mad at everybody. That's what I really think it is. I am saying right now, I'm claiming corona is a female. A very mad, petty female. She's very inconsiderate of everyone. Okay? I'm just saying. That sounds like a bitter female to me. So, and my mom, I respect and look up to my mom so much. She had went back to school, but she was working 8-9 hour shift and then going to school, sometimes the other way around. Like, she would wake up at 5:30, go to school from 6 to 2, go to work until midnight, not come home till after that, barely sleep because she would spend hours doing homework. Sometimes I would help her study, and she felt overwhelmed, so she had to stop going. And she did regret it at first, but I'm like, it's better to stop and take a break rather than overwhelm yourself, because everyone needs a break. You can't do too much. Otherwise, it does affect you, you know?
You're right about that. But I always tell everybody, it's never too late. People, in their 60s, 50s, if it's a goal that you want to achieve, if it's something you really want, and it's never too late. If it's something that you don't really want, then I guess don't do it. But if it's something that you really want to achieve, like, it's never too late, and you should keep striving towards it, even if you have to stop for a while, even if you have to, make other arrangements so you can do it better. But don't lose that. Don't let go of your goal, even if you have, like I said, even if you have to stop. Because me personally, I was supposed to have graduated last year, not this year, but last year, and even this year. But I'm still trying to finish because I had to stop for certain reasons. But I'm still moving forward. I'm not going to just stop and not keep going. Even though it's taking longer than I would like.
And I have always heard that phrase where it's like, it doesn't matter when you finish, it's about how you
That's a good one.
finish. And I want to say thank you so much for talking with me, Henry.
Oh, well, it's my absolute pleasure. I love talking to you. It's nice.
Thank you. I feel very, very appreciated right now.
I like your robe too.
Thank you, right? I love the ears. That's my favorite part. All right, you guys, I just want to leave you guys with some tips, all right? So for one, if you go to school and you got to take a break, or you got to take one class at a time, like Henry said, it doesn't matter when you finish, it's how you finish, all right? If you don't go to college, all right, it's not for you. Not everyone has to go. You can do a trade, you can go into work first, as long as you make yourself a plan, a real plan. It doesn't matter what you do, just commit to what you do. Do legal stuff, okay? Nothing illegal. Nothing illegal. We don't do anything illegal. All right? I need you guys to be good. Okay? We all want to be good and have a nice peaceful life here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let's do that. Okay? And also, in the intro, you might have seen these pictures. This one and this one. These are made by my friend Cortez Murray, and his Instagram will be right here. If you want one of those pieces of art, or an individual one, a unique one, or you want one specifically, it doesn't matter. Just message this Instagram and let him know what you want, and he will tell you his price on the artwork. And I hope to see you guys soon. Don't forget, camp meeting and Sabbath sermon, okay? We can't meet in church, sadly, but we can still watch church. And don't forget to check on your people and make sure they're not going crazy. And we'll see you guys later, all right? Bye.
Let's just be honest.